50 Shades of CRAY-CRAY. Sometimes a meme sums up a moment in pop culture better than what I ever will be able to. And that is absolutely the right summation.
Angela Levin is making headlines again, and this time her claims about Meghan Markle are anything but subtle. Fake tears, marriage lies, and believe it or not, a possible divorce memoir in the works.
Of this completely bonkers, completely misleading, completely self-serving interview between the fake Duchess, Meghan Markle, and a woman called Jamie Kern Lima. I don't recommend that you watch the full 90 minutes, folks, because this really did things to my brain. It melted my brain. It exploded my brain. But don't worry, as ever, we've done the public service. And today, Royal Mastermind Angela Levin and Meghan's sister, Samantha Markle, join me to provide the truth about her at times quite vile spin, which includes, no surprises, attacks on the royal family and attacks on the Markle family. But let's kick off with, I think, a summation of just how bad it is that Meghan continues to choose to be interviewed by her BFFs. Because the first question, without a hint of any irony, is a repeat of Tom Bradby in South Africa. Watch.
People also have this question for you is, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
I know you always make it about me. Today, which by the way, I just have to say, you are the most generous friend. You show up for your friends. Today, I just get to talk about you, which I'm excited about. But how are you doing? There's so much going on.
I'm good. There's it's a lot of pinch me moments right now.
Oh, pinch me. Pinch me. Actually, when I'm sitting through that, Angela Levin, I think you need to slap me because, good God, this is actually, I think, the worst example I've ever seen of two narcissists creating a completely false environment to peddle and spread their lies.
Well, I don't know Jamie Kern, but I mean, I think that it's the worst thing I've ever seen Meghan do. And I also think that the fact that she's not wearing any makeup is deliberate because she wants to, in this occasion, be the poor one who works so hard and has to get up at 6:30 to do to clean her teeth and get her clothes on. Oh, because it's so busy in the morning. I mean, that's what we all do, isn't it? I mean, what's so heroic about that? And I just think that not wearing lipstick makes her look as she's working incredibly hard and she's got too much to do and people don't recognize how amazing she is. That's the image she's given me.
And there was another reason, though, wasn't there, Sam, for the lack of makeup? Because what was it? One tear, left eye, go. Your sister is an expert in making herself cry on demand.
So what's really going on behind palace doors? Let's break it down. Angela Levin, a well-known royal biographer, just accused Meghan of staging emotional breakdowns for the cameras.
Exactly. And did you catch this? What really stuck out for me now was hearing, her suck-up BFF interviewers, ask her if she was okay, which takes us back to the African poverty thing for the documentary she was doing. And she said verbatim, I'm glad that someone asked me if I was okay, or nobody ever asked me if I was okay. So this felt very scripted. It's like, did she need to tap back into this and say, now make sure you ask me if I'm okay? so I can do the one to your left, I go and say, I am, thank you.
Oh,
I was like,
absolutely.
oh my God,
Of
oh my
course,
God.
it was all scripted. I mean, they speak about how they were absolute best mates, don't they? And so they were recreating that moment in South Africa with Tom Bradby, which we will never forget, will we? But I should also point out, by the way, that perhaps for once, actually, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, may have played a bit of a masterstroke here. Because, you know, Meghan released this interview when she did to try and overshadow the 14th anniversary celebrations for Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Prince William, who are in the Isle of Man today. But Catherine, and I know some people are saying, oh, you're getting a little bit excited about this, but look, she's gone. I'm not going to say she's gone blonde. She's gone blondish. And I think Catherine will, thank God, push her dastardly sister-in-law off the front pages today, at least. But anyway, of course, this whole interview is set up to show us just how hard life is for our damsel in distress, Meghan Markle. Samantha Markle, is that hard for you to watch, this attempt to rehabilitate Meghan Markle's reputation, given what she has done to your family and specifically your father?
See, you know, I mean, she's again wanting to get out her truth. And she says, you know, I'm glad you get it. People can see now. Well, she forgets that the world watched. The world watched as she mocked Queen Elizabeth while she was dying of bone cancer. The world watched her totally ice and disregard, you know, our family, our dad through 2 heart attacks and a stroke. The world has watched this. So what does she mean? Now you get it. Yeah, we got it because we all watched. So you can't suddenly act like all of that didn't happen, all of that didn't exist. Like, who's she trying to kid? Maybe the few new viewers who didn't have the backstory and who haven't been watching all of these years. Oh yeah, we get it. We've watched you.
We've literally seen it with our own eyes. Of course, and Angela,
yeah,
yet again, another interview that we sit through without any reference to the whole pile of bullying allegations on both sides of the Atlantic. Let's just pretend that it never happened.
She says every tear, every dramatic pause is carefully choreographed. Nothing is left to chance. In her words, everything is calculated. The tears, the drama, it's all about control and narrative. That's a bold accusation, and it's got royal circles buzzing.
Yeah. I mean, she pretends everything about herself. That's why she goes into her room, her home, and you don't hear a word for about a week or so. And then all of a sudden, she's got another idea of what's happening. And she never goes back and says, look, I'm really sorry that these people I know have been behaving badly. Never. She's always absolutely perfect. And she does think she's out of this world. More interesting, more cleverer, more beautiful than anybody else. And actually, you feel you want to throw some ice cold water over her.
Well, of course, because the ego is out of control. But Angela, the other issue is that there are so many lies in this interview, so many inconsistencies. And for folk who ask, well, why are we doing this? For me, it's because we have to prove that what the mainstream media is doing by just peddling her lies is irresponsible, because it's so easy to call them out. And one of the most obvious and the most egregious, which we now see, is that she is still keeping up this pretense that she doesn't read any of the coverage about her. Watch.
Often do you see stories, whether they're in magazines or online?
I just have created such a strong boundary for myself. And even we were like, no, but it's a good one. It's like, there was this quote that I had up in my trailer when I was on Suits, talk about being a soothsayer, or if it's divinely ordered. How on earth would this be the quote that I had printed up in my trailer? And I was on that show for almost 7 years. And it says, I've already settled it for myself, so flattery and criticism go down the same drain, and I'm quite free. And It's a very hard thing to put into action to actually integrate.
Yeah.
But it's become so ingrained in my mind because it was there before it actually applied to me on a level like this. I've really tried to distance myself from all of it. And that has challenges too. It does. You know, I'm oblivious to a lot of things, but that allows me to live my life really authentically, make choices authentically. But it also allows me to be really detached from the outcome. I go, I can just show up. I can put good work out there. I feel confident with what we've created, and then let it go. So to answer your question, maybe 1% of what's in the world I would see, and only if it's brought to me and said, like, you should really read this. You will learn something from it. Or this is really good insight.
Now, of course, that is completely rubbish. That is completely untrue, because what we have seen now for a number of months is Meghan's social media is totally dictated by what she wants to counteract, either in the online media on shows like this, or if there is criticism in the mainstream media. But then we get to the best acting job in the entire interview. But I could see right through it, and I'm sure you'll be able to see right through it. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, we covered it on the show, Prince Harry did a cover story with People magazine. And there was a quote about Meghan, which was like one of those hostage video quotes. I'm so proud of my wife. You knew he had to say it. You knew he hadn't written it and had been cooked up by the PR team, clearly with Meghan's say-so. Watch in this interview where Jamie Kern-Lima presents the quote to Meghan, and she pretends that she knows nothing about it.
But it doesn't stop there. Levin claims Meghan and Harry's so-called fairy tale is falling apart. She insists their marriage is in trouble, and that Meghan might already be collecting stories for a blockbuster tell-all.
Your husband just shared publicly for the first time. He said, I'm so happy for my wife and fully support absolutely everything she's done and continues to do.
When did he say that?
This week. It's everywhere in the press. Yeah, it's beautiful. But how does so? Okay, so you don't know this. Okay, so you're hearing you're hearing this for the first time.
That's
She knew
sweet.
it. No, she's not.
I love that you're hearing this for the first time. He says, I'm so happy for my wife and fully supportive and support absolutely everything she's done and continues to do. How does that make you feel?
Oh, he's such a great partner. I feel that, right? I feel that every day in how supportive he's been and is. But I didn't know he said that. So that's really nice, because I think having a partner, I mean, I asked you this when you were on my podcast, like, do you think that you would have been able to get through all the no's and the challenges if you were doing it solo, if you didn't have the support of Paolo? And there's something that is not to be taken for granted when you have a partner and a spouse who is just so behind you. You know, I mean, that man loves me so much. And, you know, look what we built. We've built a beautiful life, and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. And, you know, and I always think about it like the end of Super Mario Brothers, when you get to the final level, and what's the goal in Super Mario? They're like, slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband. He's just out there, just constant, like he's just going to do whatever he can to make sure that our family is safe and protected and we're uplifted, and still make time for date nights.
Angela, have you ever seen a more obvious lie in your life?
Nope, I haven't. But let me go back one step where she says that she doesn't hold on to things. She lets them pass her by. She's fine with that. But, you know, in the last 6 years since they've left the royal family, she can't get over what happened. She's full of resentment. And so many of the things that she does is because she wasn't treated in the royal family in the way that she wanted. So it's completely and utterly nonsense. She hangs on to everything. If she feels against you, like she is with Catherine, she will, you know, go on and on and on and on until she wins. I hope she doesn't, because they've got a different way of behaving. But actually, to say she doesn't hold on to things. They just flitter away. She's the
It's
last
laughable.
person
It's
to do
completely
that.
laughable because what she does actually is maintain campaigns that can last for years. And you're completely right to point out, Catherine, look at what the Sussex squad tried to do with her. Samantha, what about this idea of trying to paint Harry as the slay the dragon hero?
Yeah, exactly. First of all, she's not a princess from what I've been hearing. She hasn't been given that title. Second of all, I think and this is my opinion, it's really bizarre and sort of a deviation from reality, in my opinion, that she would say we built such a beautiful life. I think what is clear from inception is that it's no secret there was, a string of lies. Megyn Kelly clocked her at reportedly lying every 2 minutes. There is a beautiful life built on lies. First of all, about how she was raised. She wasn't raised a poor child. She is not Cinderella.
And there's a repeat in this interview, by
yes.
the way, Sam, because I wanted to ask you about this. This is a good time
Yeah.
to do so. She doubles down on this whole concept of being a latchkey kid eating TV dinners in this interview.
According to Levin, Meghan wants the world to see her as the survivor, with Harry cast as the broken prince she just couldn't save. Sound familiar? Now, I'm not saying it's all true, but these claims are hard to ignore, especially with the ongoing tension we've seen in interviews and public appearances. Meghan's body language, Harry's silence, it all adds fuel to the fire. So, is Meghan Markle really setting the stage for her next big act, a royal divorce drama that puts her front and centre? Or is Angela Levin just stirring the pot for attention? I want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are Levin's claims spot on or way out of line? And if you love royal drama as much as I do, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next.